Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. In this video, we are going to talk all about how to grow your business by leveraging virtual assistants. We know that work is rapidly changing these days. More people are working remotely around the world. A lot of businesses, especially since COVID happened, they shut down their offices and all their employees are working at home now because they know they could save on the expense. They don't have to have these big, expensive offices anymore when employees are just as productive working from home. So with that happening, more and more jobs, activities that were all used to be done face-to-face are now being done online. So in order to set yourself up for success with having remote employees, you need to ensure that you have the right strategy in place. So this involves setting up clear parameters, finding the right person for the job, and communicating your expectations clearly with that remote employee. So we're going to talk about some of the strategies to get the most out of your virtual assistants. Being creative with your VA strategy isn't just about what tasks you assign your VAs, but also about how you think about the entire process of working with a virtual assistant. So if you want to save time and money while growing your business, there are a few outsourcing tips that can help you do this more effectively. So one is budget accordingly. All right, so anytime you're making a hire, whether it's an in-house employee or it's a remote virtual assistant, you want to make sure you have a clear idea in the amount of work that you can afford and what you can afford to pay. So in most cases, you'll be paying per hour rather than per task. So decide ahead of time if you need daily, weekly, monthly assistance and budget accordingly. So VAs can range anywhere in an hourly rate from $3 an hour to $10 an hour plus, depending on the role that you're hiring for, the experience they have. So you want to make sure before you make a hire, make sure you have that number in head with what you're comfortable in actually spending so that it doesn't end up affecting negatively in your business by not being able to afford to continue the payments. So one, budget accordingly. And then two is learn to select the right VA. So this is extremely important because your success with your VA begins with selecting the right people. It's no different than if you were hiring in-house staff. So much of it comes down to hiring the right person for the right job. So as outsourcing gets more common, there are more VAs offering their service. So choosing the right ones can be challenging. Especially if you're just getting started and it's your first time hiring a VA. So you want to make sure you're checking their reviews, their prior work history, their experience. You want to make sure you're conducting an interview so that you can really kind of dive deep into their experience and how they could help you as a business owner. With Leverage Virtual, all the Leverage Virtual VAs are already pre-vetted for you. So we take a lot of the necessary initial work out of the way. So we'll go through all the resumes, we'll dig in to check their reviews, their past work experience, their background checks. We perform all the initial interviews to really narrow it down to the best candidates, the best final candidates, to make sure that we're going to find the top matches for you. And then we schedule the final interview that you will be a part of so that you're able to see those top candidates, ask them questions and how they can help your business. So learning to select the right VAs, that's where working with a company like Leverage Virtual really, really helps, because we know what to look for, where to look for it, and we know we can recognize the potential red flags that would make a VA not the right hire. So definitely using a company like Leverage Virtual would be a huge benefit. Communicate clearly is the next step to get the most out of your experience with a VA. So the communication's key. You want to get that started as soon as possible. So once you get that VA on board, you're going to want to make sure that you onboard them properly. So you want to have a plan in place, and it all starts with communication. So right from day one, you're able to communicate what the expectations are, what the timeline is for onboarding, like when they should complete certain tasks. And by having that communication, it's going to help you build that personal relationship with your VA. As you build more of a personal relationship with your VA, the loyalty builds, the trust builds, and then your VA is just going to take that much more pride and ownership in their job because they don't want to let you down. Because you have that personal connection, They want you to be happy with what they're doing. So the VAs, they're not mind readers, so you're going to want to communicate, make sure you're providing the details in terms of what tasks need to be done, how they should be getting done, what your expectations are, your standards. By having that open communication, it's really just going to help that relationship solidify, which is going to help you massively in the long run. So communicate clearly is definitely a key. Have a plan for document sharing, because obviously these are remote employees, so you can't just go over to their desk in the office, hand them a sheet of paper and say, here you go. You're going to want something in place to where you and your VA can share documents back and forth. We usually recommend Google Drive. That's what we use a lot. It's the easiest one, just to upload documents, share documents, and you can set the parameters. Are they able to edit the doc? Are they only able to view it? Are they able to share it with other people? So you can really kind of hone in what permissions they have in terms of that document. But people use, Dropbox, Trello, Asana, any of these to help collaborate on projects and easily share documents back and forth. Another one is to know what not to outsource, right? So when you're looking at tasks and things that you want to get off your plate, there are certain things that you shouldn't outsource, at least not right away. In the beginning, you want to focus on outsourcing the lower value tasks, right? Your admin work, your data input, your CRM management, email management, calendar management, those things could be handled by VAs. What you don't want to outsource right away are the things that directly impact the revenue of the business, because no one is going to be as good at generating revenue and sales to your business as you are, right? So usually the business owner is going to be the most knowledgeable about their product, their service. They're going to be able to convert more people into clients than a VA will. So a couple of things you're not going to want to outsource. You don't want to outsource your complex or sensitive customer service issues, because there are certain things as a business owner you have to be involved in. So if there are certain situations that you have to be involved in, you don't want to outsource that, right? Because that's then just going to put a negative connotation on your business, because if a customer has a big issue, they're going to want to talk to you. They're not going to want to talk to a virtual assistant or an in-house assistant. They're going to want to talk directly to you. If they don't get you, it's going to look like you don't care. So obviously those complex issues, those sensitive issues, you're still going to want to be in charge of those. Your content. So VAs could certainly help you create and distribute content, but they shouldn't be the ones actually delivering it. At the end of the day, as a business owner, you're still always going to be the director of marketing, because you get final say. So it's your brand, your business. You want to make sure you're the one who's putting your stamp of approval on all your marketing, all your content that's being out there. So while you can have them help, so like this, for example, with this video here, I have VAs who are going to help edit the video. They're going to be the ones sharing it to YouTube, to social media, to cut it up into Reels and YouTube Shorts, but they're not the ones doing the content. So I'm the one on actually delivering the content, doing the video. The VAs take over from there, but I'm the one in the front. So you want to make sure that you're still in charge of whatever content your company is distributing. And then your core business competencies. So your sales, lead conversion, things like that. That is where you're going to want to focus your time there. So you could leverage the admin tasks off and then focus your time on those core activities that are actually going to generate revenue. So like I said, lead generation, networking, building those relationships with people who could refer you new business. That's where you're going to want to focus your time so that it's moving the business forward. And behind the scenes, a VA is handling all the other activities of the business, and you could focus just on those core things that are actually going to grow your business. So again, the ones I just mentioned are just guidelines. Even when it comes to core business competencies, there are exceptions. Some companies, including Slack, were literally built using outsourced developers. So it's really about deciding what to outsource is a personal decision, but I personally would not outsource the ones that are going to generate revenue. One of the often repeated benefits of outsourcing is that you can help grow and scale your business. So there's a few ways to do this. One, aim to develop ongoing relationships with VAs. So while it's often beneficial to hire a VA for like a one-off task, so a lot of people just want like a VA for a week to help them organize their database. But really where it really becomes beneficial to your business is to have that long-term VA. So I've had VAs on my team for years, because of how valuable they are and how much they're able to accomplish and contribute towards my business. That helps it grow. So you want to build the long-term relationship with the VA, not just have someone just for a one-off task and then you get rid of them, and then a couple months down the road you have another one-off task, so you hire a VA to do it. It's better just to hire one, build that relationship, and then let them develop into a really invaluable member of your team. So use VAs who are trainable is another way to scale your business. So you want to make sure when you're in that interview process, you're finding the ones who want to learn, who want to grow, who have that personality to go out and continue to educate themselves. Because as they do that, they're just going to grow into the role. They could be moved into other roles within your organization because you know you're going to be able to train them. They're going to be able to train themselves. They're going to learn. They're going to grow. So you want to find the VAs who are trainable and coachable, and then you're going to want to hire more VAs as appropriate. So again, one VA, it's no different than an in-house staff because they're still people. They have capacity. So you want to make sure that you're not overextending them, because then you're going to burn out. No different than you would someone here in the States. They're overextended, they're going to burn out, they're not going to be as happy as in their job. So you want to hire as appropriate. So as you start to get more comfortable with your VA, you may find that you could hire additional VAs and get even more accomplished. And then you could really significantly kind of scale up in your efforts to get additional help. And then once you have that first VA in place, you know, their role may change, because in the beginning they may have a wide variety of tasks, but then as you're ready to bring on more help, you could talk to the VA you have and find out where they want to focus their time, what gives them the most fulfillment and joy, and what they have the most pride in, and have them focus on that, and then start to hire other VAs to take stuff off their plates. So kind of like Shaw, for example, who is the CEO of our international team. She started with me as a social media manager, but as we continued to grow as a business and we had need for other VAs, I talked to Shaw. I recognized that she had a lot more to offer than just social media management. So I knew that she had those leadership qualities. So we kind of transitioned her away from the social media management, and she became in charge of our entire VA division, where she is in charge of the hiring, the training, the accountability, all that stuff for our VA team. And then we hired someone else to do the social media management. So eventually, as your business grows, you're going to constantly be analyzing your business to see if you have the right people in the right seats. And then you start to use your VAs to supervise other VAs. So that's what I just mentioned in the example of Shaw. So now when we bring new VAs onto our team, I'm not the one person responsible for training them, overseeing them. That's all Shaw. So Shaw's going to handle that, along with Dal, my executive assistant. They're going to train, they're going to get the new VAs up and running. They're the ones tracking their production, making sure they're being held accountable to hitting the deadlines they're supposed to hit. It gets to that point where you're now able to really scale up, because now you're really building levels of leadership and taking a lot of stuff off your plate. So, on top of that, after what not to outsource, now you also, another key aspect in terms of getting the most out of your VA is the review and provide feedback. So the feedback's important, right? So these VAs need to know that they're either doing the job correctly or not correctly, right? So they're going to want that positive feedback when they're doing things the way you want it done. So that way they could make mental notes of that, so they know moving forward that, all right, he really liked when I did it this way, so I'm going to make sure I continue along those same standards. Or if they do something that isn't 100% what you wanted, give that feedback, right? Have the constructive feedback, have the dialogue with the VA. Say, you know what, I really like this, but I think we should tweak this, and really start to make those changes in the beginning until you get it perfect. And now by having that constructive feedback, your VA is now going to be able to learn from all that. And then moving forward, they're going to start nailing it every time that they have a task, because they know exactly what you're looking for. And I go to the example all the time of, the social media manager. So in the beginning, I would tell them like, hey, we need a post for this. So we just sold another house. We just closed on it. I need a just sold post. Then they would create the post. They would send it to me for approval. I would tell them if we need anything changed, whether it's wording, it's the image, whatever we want. Once it's approved, then they go and post it. But as my social media manager, as they got to know exactly what I wanted, now they don't send me anything. I don't tell them when posts need to be done. They already know. They don't send me posts for approval because they already know what my standards are, my expectations. So now it's completely off my plate. None of it. So I don't have to assign them tasks to do the posts. They just do it. I don't have to tell them the content. I don't have to approve it. So, and that was all accomplished by us having that dialogue early on to provide that feedback. So they know exactly what I'm looking for. So anyways, success with a VA is like success with any kind of partnership or joint venture. It's contingent upon both parties making it work, right? So you're gonna have to put your time in the beginning. The VA is gonna put their time in to learn and get acclimated to your business. So you really wanna just start that early on. Your VA should be happy to dive into the tasks that you assign, accommodating to your suggestions, be willing to learn, especially, once you build that relationship. So while outsourcing successfully requires an initial time investment, at the end of the day, it's a strategy that can pay off tremendously. So you'll put the little bit of time investment in now to save a ton of your time later on. So it is definitely, a good way to really scale your business in a profitable way. So if you have any questions about it, reach out to my team, like this video, subscribe to our page so you continue to get updates when we put out new videos. And, definitely visit leveragevirtual.com. You could go on there, click on book a strategy call to learn more about how a VA could possibly help you in your business. So that's it for this one. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and come back to watch our next video. All right. Thank you very much.